Welcome into the Gramlich and McLean podcast, presented by Ingles, the official supermarket of Gramlich and McLean. Mac, it's week 8. I cannot believe it's week 8. Maybe because I took a few weeks off there and left you high and dry, but
Oh, no.
shout out Taylor Tenenbaum. I really can't believe it is week 8 here on the pod, and we have quite a few games to get into, Mac. I am also attending as just a patron the Clemson SMU game this weekend.
You're
My first
back.
game of the
Let's
season.
go.
So I'm hitting up Ingles, getting ready for the tailgate. And Mac, I don't know if you remember this. You probably don't. Do you remember what my tailgate crew does especially now that we kind of go to less games because we all have a million children?
In regards to what do you mean know what they do?
Food.
Yeah, y'all just get the berries for the kids, lay it out, and just let them all
Yeah,
feast.
well, we will be doing that. It's hot dog bar time.
Wait, y'all
It's
do
hot
that
dog
every
bar.
time? I did not know that.
Pretty much. It's kind of like now that we only do one game a year with all the kids, we do hot dog bar. And obviously the hot dog bar is not even really for the kids. They'll eat it, but it's for the
Sure.
adults.
Sure.
We got chili on there. We got all the toppings. It's just gonna be perfect. You get a little chill in the air and you get a hot dog bar. It's time.
Let me
It's time to
ask
go.
you this question in a non-weird way. How many hot dogs do you think you consume over the course of a year?
Oh, well, this is a special occasion.
Is it?
Now,
Is it?
I do love a hot dog. I'm just a red-blooded American. I love a hot dog. I don't think I consume
Like
more
double
than
digits?
I would say I probably consume 6 or 7 hot dogs. I don't even know what that means, per year.
Okay.
What about
I
you,
would
Eric?
say I'm under 5. I would say I'm under 5.
See, that's
It
so
might even be
interesting.
lower than that. Like, I don't even know.
So, okay, if I may.
Yeah.
My read on this situation is you love meat so much and you have such high standards for the meat you're gonna eat,
Yes.
that eating a hot dog for you is like an insult to yourself and your body.
That's a good read on it. I just don't like I'm not a baseball fan. Where else do you get hot dogs? I don't know.
Yeah,
Like the
at a
corner of,
stadium.
Home Depot at Home Depot, you know? They have them over there. They serve them like the little food truck thing.
Oh, I don't think we have
You
those.
know what I'm talking about. Go to Home Depot. Let's go. But yeah, no, I'm not a hot dog guy. So,
I'm not shocked.
maybe on the golf course, maybe that's probably where I would get it, like at the turn,
Yeah,
maybe
golf
3.
course, stadium, hot dog bar.
Yeah.
Those are the 3, and if you do wanna do a hot dog bar, like we are doing, because it's also really good adults and kids, It's easy for both, Mac. Then make sure you go to Ingles and get stocked up. And you know what? Channel me. Don't worry about Mac. He may think that he is better than hot dogs, but you know what? I am not.
We
So
go.
go to Ingles.
I'm proud of you. Let's just jump straight into a message from our friends, and then we'll be right back. We'll talk this weekend.
Did you know that Ingles sells more organics than any other store? Or that they run their own dairy? Or that they only serve USDA choice and prime meat? Did you know that they have more local craft beer than any place else? Or that they have Energy Smart stores? Or that they professionally slice and package imported cheese from Europe? Did you know about their giant international aisle, local farm partnerships, curbside pickup, wine department? Or that they donate 3,956 meals a day to local food banks? Well, now you do. It's all in the bag. Ingles, low prices, love the savings.
Okay, Mac, enough nonsense. Let's get into these football games here this weekend in the ACC. I want to start here, Mac. There are 5 undefeated teams in the Atlantic Coast Conference in conference play. There are 3 3-0 teams: Georgia Tech, Virginia, Duke. SMU's 2-0, Miami's 1-0. All of those teams play this weekend. And even more fun, Georgia Tech and Duke play each other. So keep an eye on all of that. But let's start with Louisville and Miami. We did our full Louisville-Miami preview with Akeem Mesidor, who was fantastic on Wednesday. So if you missed that episode, go check it out. The Miami fans are all over it. Louisville fans, maybe this part is a little more for you, as we'll discuss it from more of a even perspective. We were really talking about it from Miami perspective in the episode with Mesidor. 13.5-point favorite, Miami is. Friday night, tonight, Mac, 7 p.m. at Hard Rock. We said we're going to give our picks today. Do you feel the same about this game that you did a couple days ago? Like, has anything changed for you?
I don't think so. I'm excited to see them go at it. And I think this is going to be a really high quality game. And just when you look at it, the number is fascinating to me. I know we didn't pick, and we will here in a second. It's just a big number, 13 and a half.
Yeah.
I think because I just respect the Cards more, like I think they're better than that. And I specifically think their defense is better than that. But it's just one of those things where you look at who they've played, particularly out of conference, and you're just like, okay, well, that's probably why their defensive numbers are so juiced up. Against, a Pittsburgh team, they gave up 27. Against Virginia, they gave up 30 in overtime there. But, with that same breath of air, it's going to be fascinating just to see, because I think on the offensive side of the ball, they're probably going to sling it. I don't know what these, running backs are going to look like. I think Duke Watson actually has already been announced that he's out. And so that's a huge deal. And then you just see the, what Isaac Brown's going to be able to do.
Right.
The rest of the way for these guys. I'm fascinated to see that. Just to see, okay, who are they going to be? What are they going to be offensively? Are they going to throw it 30,
They used to
40
more in the
times?
passing game
Right.
against
Right.
Virginia.
For sure. And I don't know if they necessarily want to do that, though. Like, I think you want your guy running the football. So in that same breath, Miami hasn't seen that before. They haven't seen a team that's going to throw it that many times. So, yes, I know Akeem Mesidor is very excited about that. Ruben Bain's probably very excited about that. But also, it's probably going to be your first real test, for your defensive backfield. And so can that pressure get there quick enough to maybe help out the DBs, or vice versa? Are the DBs sticky enough in making plays and getting their hands on the football where the boys up front can eat and can get back there and cause some damage?
Yeah, sorry, I just had a crazy sneeze. Apologies. I do think this is a different type of opponent than Miami's seen, not necessarily better. I mean, they played Notre Dame. They beat Notre Dame. They beat Florida State, South Florida, Florida, but just a different kind of looking team. And, I think Miami is going to be very locked in. We've heard that from Akeem Mesidor. We've heard that from Carson Beck, Mario Cristobal, everybody. But when you look back at recent years, the issues for Miami have been games like this, when you're playing a competent opponent, but still an opponent that shouldn't beat you. It happened 2 years ago. Louisville beat Miami in Miami. So they have to be absolutely locked in. I feel like this team is different in so many different ways than the previous Miami teams that have had these issues. But, Mac, there's a reason why you're up for the Florida game. There's a reason, South Florida even, just because they were ranked and that was an exciting matchup. Florida State, obviously. It's like you got through that gauntlet. You had your bye. Now it's some of these games that maybe aren't as exciting to the average person.
Sure.
Can Miami be as locked in as we've seen them? I think coming off a bye, they will be. Talking with Akeem Mesidor and just the culture of this team, I'm not as concerned, but that is kind of the big question. Like, can Miami just continue to handle their business like we haven't seen them do in years past?
Yeah, no, I think it's a very fair question, and just to see them take the next step. Like the two things that I am really locked in on that just I want to see is that defensive backfield that I just said for Miami, and how do they stack up against Chris Bell, who's a fantastic wide receiver, and Colin Lacey, who has just gotten it going of recent, and what does that look like from their perspective? And then can the team, the Hurricanes, if they get up early, can they stay up? Can they win this game by a big margin instead of allowing a team to creep back? And there's some doubt. Like, it's funny. They ranked number 1 in game control a couple of weeks ago, and maybe that's just because they keep winning. But let's look at margins here. And can you finish the deal? And, if you're up 20 points, going into the second half or the fourth quarter, can you hold on to that? And can you run the offense necessary? Can your defense continue to stand strong? Things of that nature is something I'm really fascinated to see, KG.
I agree, Mac. And you mentioned the defensive numbers. Louisville and Miami are 1 and 2 in the ACC in total defense. Louisville is actually number 1. Some of that may be their non-con that they played. When you look at this spread overall, Miami a 13.5-point favorite. This is a great nugget from intern Nick. Coach Braum has only been an underdog 5 times in his 3 years at Louisville. That's crazy.
That is crazy
when you think about that. And he has gone 3-1-1 against the spread in those games. Fascinating. I believe Miami will win the game. I am not Eric McLean. I don't pick against the Canes. Obviously, Canes fans, I know how you feel about that. Mac will never live that down. But I love, as I said previously, I love a road underdog on a Friday night. So give me Louisville to cover. I think
Mm.
Louisville covers the 13.5, but Miami to
Yeah.
win. And maybe it's late. Like it's kind of a backdoor cover in
Backdoor?
some
Not a
way.
backdoor cover. A
Well,
late
that's what
field
Florida
goal.
State did.
Late field goal to win by 10 or lose by 10. That would stink if that happens.
Depends which way you're picking, Matt.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think I'm pretty confident in these Canes. I think that
Ooh.
the passing frequency that occurs in this game is going to be bad news for Louisville. I think that lines of scrimmage clearly favor, what you see from Miami in the way that they play. And I think that, Keem Mesidor, Ruben Bain, just have bad intentions, and they haven't had an opportunity quite like this. And Miller is nowhere close to as mobile as Tommy Castellanos was. And so, if they get back there against this, average to below average, I think it's below average to what Louisville is used to and what those fans are used to from an offensive line perspective, then you're going to have a long day. You're going to have struggles. And you look back early in the season when Miller Moss was pressured and stuff in, guys in his face there, he turned the ball over. He gave the ball up. And so that could be fascinating to see, how does Miami do that? Is it actually the, guys up front, the defensive line actually helping the secondary because he's having to throw that ball quicker. He's having to make, poor decisions just because he doesn't want to get hit, doesn't want to, take a sack there. So I'm fascinated to see that. If Louisville can run it, if Isaac Brown is healthy as he's been all year, then that might change the story a little bit. That might change the narrative.
Sure.
If you can have balance, if you're able to establish that, because he's as special as it gets. I mean, that when fully healthy, that's as good a running back as there is in the entire country. Again, with his running mate not being there, I'm fascinated to see that. And then another guy that you're going to talk about Ruben Bain, you're going to talk about Mesidor, but Clev Lubin on the other side for Louisville, Coastal Carolina transfer, he's the real deal. Like that guy's freaky. That's going to be a really fun matchup to see Clev versus this Miami offensive line, wherever he lines up. If it's on the left side, the right side, somewhere in the middle, from a rabbit package type deal, that's going to be another kind of matchup within the matchups that I think is a little sneaky that people probably aren't as focused on. But with all that said, give me the Canes to cover here at home and make a statement when everybody's watching.
Interesting. Okay. I like it, Mac. Just one more thing with Louisville, I really liked what their defense did to Virginia's offense.
Sure.
I mean, Virginia really, they benefited from forcing some really crazy and almost kind of fluky turnovers, like scoop and score situations. That's how they scored. So I liked what we saw from Louisville there. Now, I think Miami's a different beast, but I also think Virginia has a good offense. So I liked that Louisville defense. For Louisville to cover, I think the defense does have to show up, at least in that way.
No doubt.
All right, Mac, a matchup of undefeated in ACC play teams, and of course, Georgia Tech's undefeated. Number 12, Georgia Tech at Duke, noon, ESPN, and Duke is a 1.5-point favorite. Okay. Initial thoughts. Duke being a 1.5-point favorite. Is this just straight up disrespectful to the Jackets? Or do you feel like this game is going to be close? And you guys are going to be there, by the way.
Yeah. Do I think it's going to be close? Yes, I do. I think these are two really good teams. I think that, when you look at what they both have been able to do, obviously Georgia Tech undefeated had a game they should have lost against Wake Forest, but they didn't. Found a way to come back, had themselves in position to win that football game. But then a week ago, looked really efficient, looked really strong, bounced back nicely, against Virginia Tech there, and a Duke team that, since having pretty embarrassing, honestly, back-to-back losses, out of conference, have looked great and have found a fantastic run game. I've loved what I've seen from them, on the ground. And I think that's, alleviated some fun pressure for Darian Mitza, allowed him to just kind of play more free, which I think is really exciting. And then you look with their defense, it's kind of like they just remembered who the heck they are. They're second in the conference, with 17 sacks there. Also, I believe second or tied for second with INT. So they're getting their hands on the football. They're getting their hands on the quarterback. This team is causing issues on the defensive side of the ball. So it will be fantastic just to see what's the approach here for Georgia Tech, because it feels like to me, KG, they have to throw the ball very efficiently to win this. I don't know if you necessarily just want to line up and say, hey, us versus you, here we go. What are you going to be able to do there? Even though, Duke is kind of towards the middle of the pack in regards to yards that they've given up there. The bad news is Georgia Tech defensively is the worst in the conference. They're giving up 170 yards rushing per game. That is crazy when you see that. They're giving up a bunch of touchdowns too, rushing, not more in the middle, not necessarily in the back end like they are yards. But so Duke, like, what's your approach there? I can't wait to ask Jimbo Fisher this because I'm fascinated this weekend. If I'm a coach, if I'm preparing, if I'm a coordinator, I'm preparing for this and I'm watching the tape and I'm looking at the stats, I'm seeing this and that, and I see that they are dead freaking last, and I see our run game that we really like, I'm going to try to hammer that early. I'm
Mhm.
testing that. I'm seeing how deficient are you, and can we take full on advantage of this? So maybe in a week where, we want to be 60-40 pass run, maybe we flip it. Maybe we want to lean on the run game and just see what we're able to do. Because I think this offensive line is tremendous for both teams, but Duke's very physical as well. And so just to see the attack and see the approach here, KG, for this coordinator chess match is going to be fascinating for me.
Even when you have Darian Mensah, you say, let's
Even when
run
you,
it 60%
I
of
just
the
want
time?
well, here's the deal. Darian Mintz, okay, it's great if I could turn around and hand it to an inside zone or a power or a counter and it's an 8-yard gain and then it's 2nd and 2. We can
Right,
take a shot, get those
right.
safeties to move up, and then right over the top, here we go. So yeah, I think I think this week in particular, you try to run to pass the ball. In other weeks, it
Mhm.
feel like they've passed to open up the run, but just switch it around and just see what you got.
Yeah, and that's a concern for Georgia Tech. That's been an issue for them throughout the year, even though they're 12th in the country and undefeated. The other concern for Georgia Tech is how they've looked on the road. They have not looked good. The Wake Forest game, as you alluded to, and now Colorado, okay, that's a opening game of the
Fluky.
season, tough place to play. That place was packed, and you turned the ball over 3 times in the first quarter. Like
Mhm.
that, and you found a way to win. So, it's not really the Colorado game I'm talking about, it's more the Wake Forest game.
Yeah.
They've had great crowds at home, and they've been really good at home. Road's been different. This is also noon on the road, which is what it was at Wake. Sleepy environment, which is what it
It's
was at
family
Wake.
weekend. It might be packed at Duke. It might be packed, but historically, I'm
Okay.
with you. I'm with you.
I'm just gonna move on from that. So, so you're gonna have a sleepy environment at Wallace Wade Outdoor Stadium. I just need to make sure Georgia Tech is ready to go. I also think Virginia Tech is pretty bad, so I'm not sure just how much you take from that. On the flip side, Duke played a Syracuse team that just lost their quarterback and looked terrible, and then Duke played a Cal team that, yes,
Yeah.
the travel is hard, but Cal isn't great. So
Yeah.
Duke's kind of gotten right against some of those bad teams. I think we're gonna learn a lot. This game is huge for so many
Yes,
different
it is.
reasons. Georgia Tech's won 4 in a row in this series too, Mac, which is
Mhm.
interesting.
Mhm.
But the defense, to your point, that's a concern. And then the other thing to look at from a Georgia Tech perspective in the positive, they are number 1 in the ACC in red zone conversion rate. They've scored on 24 of 25 red zone trips, which is crazy. Duke is 13th in that category. They're down around 80%.
Yeah.
That could be the difference maker there. Duke's had some, and the Illinois game comes to mind, some just like puzzling situations in the red zone. You have to score. When you get in the red zone against Georgia Tech, you've got to score to keep up because they are
Yeah.
so good at that.
No, there's no question. And you mentioned the magnitude of this game, and we probably I should have started here, but I mean, this is a ACC playoff game. Like, this is an
Yeah,
ACC championship. If you lose, you're not in a good spot. Like, if you make that
correct.
happen, you have some real issues there. So it's fascinating just to see, what comes of this. What are the players like? Are they tense? Are they uptight? Do they understand the ramifications, of this game and what truly is at stake here? And it's a little bit interesting for Duke too, because when we look at kind of, I think we all kind of just assume Miami's going to be in like the level that they're playing at, which maybe
Sure.
is not a good idea when you look
Did we assume
historically.
that last year
Yeah, we didn't. That's what we thought, and it didn't happen.
when they were undefeated?
Especially in November. So we still have to get to November with the Hurricanes. But Georgia Tech, Duke, and Virginia, even though SMU is undefeated too,
Mhm.
in conference play, those are kind of the 3 that we're all thinking are vying, for that second spot. Duke
As
plays
we
these
all
guys
predicted.
and Virginia, right? Like they play both, so they have that ability. Um, to control their own destiny, if you will. So, yeah, it's a huge deal, and it's going to be fascinating just to see mentally. Is anyone playing tight? Is anyone playing scared, or are they ready to cut it loose? And we see a huge, big time matchup here.
I saw your poll, by the way. Do you think Manny Diaz has been having any conversations this week? What do you think?
I'm sure his phone has rang,
Yeah.
100%.
I
Now, if
mean,
he
Brent Keith's
answered,
phone
I
has
don't know.
probably rang at some point
No,
about
he ain't going
some
to
of these
Penn
jobs.
State. Hey,
No, not Penn
if I
State,
see
but
a Pennsylvania area code, I'm looking at my phone, I'm going,
no, not
"Nope,
Penn State, Mac, but there are jobs open left, right, and sideways. Like, I mean, you already got Oklahoma State, Virginia Tech, and then there's
he don't
gonna
like
be more.
he don't
There's
like
gonna be more.
think he's a tech man. We'll probably ask him that. Next time we talk to him in the offseason, I'm gonna ask him that straight
I
up.
know what he'll
See what he
say.
says. See what he I think he'll be real with us if there's anything to it, but
I
there
think
might not
Brady
be.
also does not eat hot dogs like you. He doesn't have that. He
He probably
doesn't
doesn't.
tolerate that.
It might be he might eat a Wagyu hot dog.
Oh, well, when you got
That
money, you got
exists. It
money.
might not exist. I don't know.
You got money. Okay, Mac. I hate that I'm doing this, and
Are you
I
going with
don't
the
want
Ball
Brent Key to
City
hear this.
Dukes right now?
I think Duke wins this game. I just think it's first of all, it's the most ACC thing that can happen. So there you go. I
Yeah.
think Duke is a good team. They play really well at home. Darian Mensah is a baller.
Mhm.
Their defense is figuring it out. I don't trust Georgia Tech as much on the road. Noon start, sleepy environment. Who's hurt? Who's not? I'm going to take the Devils.
I think all those things you just said make sense to take the Devils. I
Mm.
think you feel better about where they are. You feel better about how they're playing. You feel better about the offense and the defense collectively and what they can do. But Coach Key's just a gamer, man. He
Yeah.
makes it happen. And
So is Haynes King.
so is Haynes King, and they're healthy. And I like the fact that they have, kind of a third option running the football.
Yeah.
Again, I just want to
Upgrade.
continue to see more from the passing game, and I think that's going to be the secret to success here. I don't know. Duke will turn you over too. I'll go with the Jackets. Well, let's go opposite. Let's go two
Okay.
opposites in a row here. Let's go.
I love that. We're disagreeing here, Mac. Let's see if we disagree on this next one. Well, let's get to SMU Clemson. But before we do that, this SMU Clemson breakdown is brought to you by our good friends over at Roback because the SMU gear and the Clemson gear on that site is fire. Mac and I love the SMU gear. I love their colors over there at SMU.
I have some.
So,
You know
yeah,
what's funny?
Mac
I got
does.
invited on an SMU podcast. I almost wore it. And then I was
You
like,
should
wait,
have.
hold on. Not this week. Y'all want to bring
Not
me back? I'll wear it. Not this week.
That's true. This week, I hear you. But use our code GM20, 20% off. And they just have so much good stuff on that site, Mac. Also, we got to 10,000 subscribers. Probably should have led with that. That just shows that we're not, we're not the super savvy media people or whatever. But 10,000 subscribers on YouTube, Mac.
Amazing.
That's
Unbelievable.
awesome.
Unbelievable.
Congratulations.
Come on. I'm proud of
All right.
us. I'm proud of y'all. Thank you guys
Yeah.
for all your support and help.
Yes, thank you, thank you. Okay, SMU at Clemson, 3:30 ACC Network. No one's ranked. It's what we all thought this ACC championship rematch would be back at the beginning of the season. Clemson's 6.5-point favorite. This number has fallen. Let's start with the elephant in the room. We are seeing reports, and I'll just go ahead and say, as a subscriber to On3 and Tiger Illustrated, because they all do really good work over there, Tiger Illustrated is reporting that Cade Klubnik will be a game time decision and that would actually be the best case scenario if he's a game time decision. So it sounds like this ankle is not doing great. Vizina, Pete Nakos, who we had on our pod over the summer, he reported on Twitter that Vizina has taken the majority of the first team reps this week for Clemson. Mac, what and how does this game change if it is the Christopher Vizina experience for Clemson?
Yeah. I think we need to see it first before we go all out, because I think every time that we have seen Venzina get in, the play calling has been atrocious.
And it's always
It has
garbage
been
time.
horrific. Garbage time, or it's just like, what are we doing?
Or
Like 3
garbage play
straight
call.
crazy QB runs was just terrible last week. And now maybe he's pulling it. Maybe he's doing, what he's not supposed to. I don't know. But I am excited just to see a glimpse of the future and see him run the offense if it gets to that point. Do you like it at this game against these guys? Probably not. But is what it is. You're 3-3. Who cares? Put another quarterback in. Let's see what happens. It's funny. Actually, this is hilarious. I'll tell you this. So I love to be on Twitter. I love to see what everybody says. 3 weeks ago, people were screaming from the rooftops to put Benzina in. Now that this reporting has come out, everyone's like, "Oh my god, we're gonna lose." And it's just like, people are so dumb sometimes. Like, just relax. Just sit back, enjoy the show. I think he has a lot of fun, characteristics. He's got a big arm, he's huge.
He's a
You know,
big
what
dude.
does he look like when it's his show? And if he's practiced all week like he's the number one guy, that's certainly better than getting to Friday night and being like, hey buddy, go in there. Good luck. Have fun. If something were to happen late in the week or something of that nature. So at the end of the day, here's the thing for Clemson. They have unbelievable weapons. Just get the ball near them. Just get it in the vicinity of Bryant Wesco, of Antonio, of, TJ Moore, all these guys, and you'll be fine. You'll be fine. So I'm excited to see that. Obviously, SMU's pass defense is atrocious. It's one of the worst in the ACC. So that's kind of nice that you kind of get that from a tidbit here, but they have the most interceptions in the
Yeah.
league. So as bad as they are, they'll get their hands on the football and they'll take it to the house. So some of that, maybe some more safety linebacker stuff there, but it is fascinating. And just to see Clemson's approach, like how differently does the offense look if Benzina is the guy? I don't know. We'll see. It's going to be really fascinating just to see that. And I think on the SMU side, like they've bounced back nicely and have had a couple of nice weeks in a row as well.
They absolutely have. And we're going to get to SMU, but I want to stay here with that because it's the way you say, and this sounds so bad, but you're right. You're 3-3.
Yeah.
Like this is
Cares.
the perfect chance to see if this kid has it.
Right.
And if he
Right.
doesn't,
Yeah.
this is
chop him.
if he does go, he's been taking the reps all week. It's a game plan, hopefully, that's catered to him. He's got weapons. Antonio Williams is starting to play like Antonio Williams. Bryant Wesco has been one of the best receivers in the country all season. Adam Randall's been really good when you've actually given him the ball. So this can teach us something here. Like it almost makes this game more interesting in some
think so.
ways. If he goes. Now, who knows? Cade could still play. I don't know. But then Vizina's still ready, assuming if Cade rolls that ankle again with someone whose ankle ligaments has been described to them as saltwater taffy that's stretched out. I understand that you can roll that ankle right away and then it's going to be Vizina's show anyway. So if you're an SMU fan, Mac, I think you like this because you have there's so much more unknown
Right.
with Vizina than Klubnik. And Klubnik did play really well against you in the ACC championship.
Sure.
Now, SMU's pass defense ranks 135 out of 136 teams. Like, it's terrible. But they've also, like you said, they've gotten their hands on the ball. They lead the ACC in sacks. Like, it's very confusing. They've been disruptive, but they've given up a ton of yards. A lot of that came in the Baylor and TCU games. Do you feel like we've learned anything about SMU with these Stanford and Syracuse wins, or have they just played bad teams?
No, I think it's just like where Clemson is. Like it's two teams
similar.
that severely underperformed what we thought they would, at the beginning of the season, first 4 weeks of the season. And now they've, had some good opportunity to get right and to look better. And they have, and that's good. That's impressive. But yeah, at the end of the day, we don't really know. And who knows? Maybe we won't know after this either, But I do think this is a good win. Whoever does win this game, I think it is a good win, for that program, for that team. And they can continue to, build upon, who they want to be, what they want to do. And you talk about, the different guys and who's stepping up, who's getting their shine. I have to say this. I meant to do a Braden Jacobs breakdown tape earlier in the week because everybody's been ecstatic, and I have it ready. I just haven't had time to do it. He played out of his mind. That dude, KG, is going to be very, very good. And listen, maybe Boston College was the worst team we've ever seen in our lives. Maybe. Who knows?
They're not the best.
Killing those boys. Dominate. Like 1, 2, 3, hands on. There's nothing you can do. I'm 6'8", 350. You're not going anywhere. He lost one rep out of 60 snaps. He lost one rep. And I was just like, this is so impressive. He's nimble. He gets out in space. He launches guys when he touches them out in open space. He's like a dancing bear. So if you want to talk about like, are we making a decision somewhere? Left tackle is going to be fascinating to see because that was some real juice over there. And some confidence. And I love Tristan Lee. I think he's a great player too. But you can't teach 6'8", 350. Sorry.
Sure.
Like that's a different, kind of beast, different animal there. I'm fascinated to see who runs out there first and just what does this offensive line look like starting five-wise, protecting Benzina against the sack-happy Mustangs here. So
Yeah.
that's going to be an interesting piece too if Chris is the guy.
A much better test than BC or North Carolina. I think we can all
Sure.
agree. And then for
Or
SMU, a much
Stanford.
better
Yeah.
test than
Yeah.
Syracuse or Stanford. What's crazy, Mac, when you look at Clemson, they have 3 straight home games coming up against good teams, SMU, Duke, and Florida State, right? And Clemson has lost their last 4 games in Death Valley against Power 4 teams, dating back to the 33-21 loss to Louisville last November. That's insane. For a while there, I mean, Clemson didn't lose a game at home for like 4 years or something. So it's like, if you're SMU, are you like, I think you're excited to go play in this type of environment, but you're not terrified. I mean, not how teams used to be. The other fun fact here with SMU, and then let's get to kind of what SMU needs to do, Mac. Rhett Lashley has not done well as a road underdog since 2022. He's 2-7 against the spread on the road.
Mhm.
So I find that interesting, but also Clemson never covers. So do what you want with that spread, Mac. What's your key for SMU? I mean, KJ makes this team go. He's mobile, but he hasn't really been as mobile this year. They haven't used his legs as much.
Mhm.
He has been turnover prone, but not recently against those bad teams.
Yeah.
What do you want to see what does SMU need to do to win this game?
Well, I think take care of the football, number
Yeah.
one. Like, do not give this offense extra opportunities. Do not give this defense life. Protect yourself. Just make the smart play, because there's still guys. And it's fascinating. Clemson's defense is number 2 in the conference, only giving up 18 points a game. Like, that's incredible when you see what they're able to do there.
That's
You look at
crazy.
it is crazy. You look at their total offense, they're top 4 with what they do and what they allow,
Sure.
only giving up 320 a game. And so you kind of look at, how do you want to attack them? Do you want to try to run the ball on them? Not really. They're really good at that. They're big and strong at that. Do you want to pass it? They're in the middle upper half, of the league. So the Clemson defense has been stepping up, and they've played well. I thought, obviously, their most complete game against Boston College. Saying that with an asterisk beside it. Thought the defensive line played their best game by far. Jaheim Lawson has looked fantastic.
Mhm.
And I like how they moved him around and kind of had him as a rabbit when they put him at a 3 technique. He's a true defensive end. You put a fast, twitchy guy against guards, that's a little bit of an issue there. And then the stars are playing. So do I want to see a little bit more from Wade Woodaz? Yep. I want to see a little bit more violence and attacking there. Sammy Brown same type of thing. But I thought both those guys had pretty big games. And so, can you get the ball out to your good playmakers? Can you involve your tight ends? Try to get some mismatch, problems with some of those linebackers, with a RJ Maryland, with a, Matthew Hibner there. And then just the running attack has been pretty underwhelming from
Yeah.
SMU, but I don't know if you want to try to die on that hill in this game. Let KJ create, move him around, maybe have some design rollouts, things of that nature where he can be in space, and then hopefully has some completions that guys are running right in his window as he's getting out.
I think you'll win or lose this game on the back of Kevin Jennings.
Yes.
And I would say the weakness for Clemson defensively is that secondary, so I would attack it. When you look at this number, Max, 6.5. I mean, with all, with all the uncertainty, and it almost feels like Clemson's worse at home because they feel the pressure because, the fans are not pleased with what's going on. Give me SMU to cover. Give me SMU to cover.
Let me ask you this,
SMU plus
KG.
6.5.
This is a super real moment right here.
Let's
It's
be
just
real.
me and you. It's just me and you. Have you ever booed Clemson at a game?
No?
No? Okay.
I
Are
don't
you
think I was
lying?
booing as a freshman on the Hill in the Troy game. I don't think I
Yeah.
was. I don't think I was that rude.
What about
Um,
2013
have
at
I now
FU?
here's the question. Have I booed / said bad words in the comfort of my own home? Absolutely. But I really don't think I could bring myself if I'm in the stadium to boo. I don't think I
Yeah.
could do it.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't
Okay.
know.
That's good. That's good to
It's a
know.
good
That's good to
question.
know. Did you
Now, have
pick?
I
Did
been
you? Did you?
mad in that stadium?
Sure.
Absolutely.
We can all be mad. Did you go? Did you pick one way? Where are you going? Where are you going
SMU
with it?
plus 6.5.
Oh, you are. You're taking them.
I am.
Give me the Tigers. Tigers win by a touchdown. This number's getting too low. Number's getting
Okay.
too low. I think that
Okay.
favors when it was 8 or 9. I think it was at 9.5 at one point. I was like, hit the ponies, baby. But
Yeah.
Clemson will win by a touchdown.
That quarterback uncertainty is I don't know. There's too much going on there. Too
Brian
much.
Westbrook
Yeah, give the ball to Brian
caught
Wilson.
it.
Please. Clemson's the best player this year by far.
No
Okay,
question.
Mac, we gotta run through the rest of these games. I'm gonna be honest, I have no thoughts on UConn, BC, or North Carolina, Cal. If you do, you can let me know.
BC is probably a you better not game,
Oh,
but
absolutely.
UConn
Yeah,
will beat them. UConn will beat them.
great.
Yeah, no
Love that.
question. UNC Cal, just Cal cover. Just Cal cover. Let's see Sangapolotele be a
Yeah,
beast. I'm fine with that. 10 o'clock. I will not watch a snap of that game live. I'll watch that on the back end for sure. I'll
I
be
think
knocked
that's
out.
good. I think that's fair. Well, you also have Florida State, Stanford, 10:30 p.m. But before that, there's another ranked team here, guys. Come on, let's give some respect. Virginia is hosting Washington State, 6:30 p.m. on the CW network. Virginia is a 17.5-point favorite. This is so weird. Washington State, okay, they were just at Ole Miss. They had every chance to beat Ole Miss. They lose
Mhm.
24-21. I'm assuming they fly back to Pullman and then they fly back out to Charlottesville. Meanwhile, Virginia coming off a bye. Like, you can't be in two more different situations. And Virginia winning that Louisville game by the skin of their teeth, don't look good offensively. This offense, I'm assuming people have had time to get healthy. The offense will look a lot better. That's still a big number, Mac.
Yeah.
Because we saw Washington State look good against Ole Miss, they've made a quarterback change. That's helped them. I think Virginia wins, but I'm not sure they cover 17.5. I think
No
Washington State
way.
covers. Yeah.
Listen. What you're not remembering
Tell me.
is that game was kicked off at like 10:45 a.m. in Mississippi. Like that was the picture perfect
Correct.
trap game. Lane Kiffin didn't get to do his yoga. All the fans were at like table tennis or whatever the heck they play. Like
Oh
nobody
my
was there
god.
probably early. It
Student
was
section was
picture
not
perfect.
there.
What's that?
Lane Kiffin was mad. The students were not there for Ole Miss.
Yeah, see, they had to do their stuff, and so Virginia got to watch all that and see that. And they're like, "Whoa, hey now, let's not play around with these
I hear
boys."
you. I hear
Right?
you.
So I think Virginia is going to be locked in. I think there is something to the last time they played, the offense not having a good taste in their mouth. Like they want to perform, at a pretty high level here. I think they do that. I think they do cover. They probably win by 20 something. Just seeing, how impressive they want to be. And really, what's interesting to me, like I don't know if enough people, maybe myself included, are thinking Virginia to the playoff. Like they can make that happen if they run
Look at
this
their
table. It's going
schedule.
to be fascinating to see.
I said that after Florida State. We were like, look at their
Yeah,
schedule.
yeah.
It's very doable. And they kicked themselves for losing that NC State game. They should have won that game.
So
They turned it
ridiculous.
over in the red zone at the very end.
Crazy to
Um,
think about.
yeah, but Mac, I don't know. I think Vegas is starting to adjust on Virginia. I think Vegas is starting to understand they're pretty good, so that's why it's 17.5. So
Okay.
Virginia wins, but I think the Cougs cover. Let's go to Florida State here, Mac. Florida State at Stanford, 10:30 p.m. Eastern on ESPN. Florida State, 18.5-point favorite. That's a lot of points. These two teams have never met. And Mac, here is what you need to know about Florida State. Florida State is 1-10 in ACC games since the start of 2024. Only win came against Cal. So they have had success against these new ACC schools, but that game was in Tallahassee. Florida State's they're not going to lose this game, Mac. 18.5 is a lot of points. And Stanford actually has been really good against the run. They're only giving up like 115 yards on the ground. And we know Florida State wants to run it. Where's Florida State mentally? There's so many factors here.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know. I feel like I would stay away from this game. But if I had to pick it, I don't know. I think Florida State's probably mad. Give me Florida State to cover. I'm changing my
Yeah.
mind. Give me
I
Florida
like
State to
that.
cover. They're
As
mad.
you should. As you should. The interesting thing to me is the guy that has the most sacks on Florida State's team at 2.5, by the way, only 2.5, is a defensive back.
Yikes.
That's an issue. That ain't
Yikes.
good. We have got to see this team up front become more dynamic. And listen, is that the Twins, 90 and 93, are they stepping up and being beasts? Sure, do it. Somebody has to do it. We have to see a pass rush from that side of the ball and from that position specifically, because they don't have one. They have nobody that you are fearful of at that position right now today. Now, can someone emerge? Sure. Can someone emerge next year? Absolutely. But right now, that's a glaring issue for me. And just, creating turnovers, getting your hands on the football, making things happen, Florida State. This is a nice game to do that. This is a nice game to go out to California, where everybody's written you off, you're done, same old team from last year, somehow beat Alabama, no one knows how, to make a statement, to make some noise. And hopefully some guys have gotten healthy, some guys are back.
Yeah.
But I think you're right. Like this is a frustration game. And to be honest, to be really honest, like your coach is on the hot seat. And maybe it's too late. I hope it's not because I love Mike Norvell.
Mhm.
But, you and I are pretty we like him and
Mhm.
we speak pretty positively of him. And I'll just say this, after Monday, I had a lot of people in my DMs and messages saying, we want him gone. We don't
Yeah.
want that guy anymore. And I think that's a shame. And I don't know if that's the right decision. So I hope everyone feels that. And like, you got to play your tail off here. And I think they'll do that.
100%. That's well said, Mac. And my main question always when we're talking about hot seat with coaches, and we saw it, of course, with Penn State, are you going to get someone better?
Right.
Like, are you sure?
Right.
Are you sure? And you're never sure in a coaching search, but
Mm-hmm.
because I think, especially with how quickly some of these coaches have been fired at Florida State, we'll see if the candidate you want may be a little hesitant to take that job at Florida State.
Right.
I don't know. But yeah, desperation time for FSU, and let's hope for Norvell's sake that the players feel that. Mac, last game here, Pitt at Syracuse. Pitt is a 10.5-point favorite. 7:30 p.m. on ACC Network. Pitt's won 4 of the last 5 against Syracuse. I got a stat for you with this, and this is intern Nick cooking. Since 2015, Pat Narduzzi at Pitt is 17-6 against the spread as an away favorite. I think Syracuse is a dumpster fire, obviously, since their quarterback got hurt, which is so sad because they looked great against Clemson. Give me Pitt to cover here.
Yeah. Since their 30-point drubbing of Clemson, these guys suck.
Since they dominated the ACC's premier brand.
So,
Great. Love it.
It's crazy how much one position can change everything. I'm with you, though. They just don't look good. They don't look good.
Give me Hinchel.
Pitt does. Pitt's on fire. And we're doing a tape breakdown of them this coming weekend in Durham. Cannot wait. There's some good stuff happening offensively. And it's just confusing. It's just like, well, what it takes you so long to get this guy? If he's been this good, clearly y'all saw it earlier. Let him ride. I don't know. It's a
well,
weird
also,
thing.
Mac, let's be honest, for Pitt fans, Desmond Reed being out, Desmond Reed makes any quarterback better. So, who knows the difference if Reed's been healthy the whole season, but he should be good to go against Syracuse.
Maybe the best player in college football. Like
he's
him,
great.
Reuben Bain, some others, obviously Jeremiah Smith at Ohio State. There's some freaks, but this guy, he's a beast. He's going to be a heck of a player in the NFL. We'll see. That's it, KG. We appreciate y'all tuning in. Thank you for jumping in here. Jump in the comments. Tell us what you think about these games. We are kind of all over the place.
And about hot dog bars in general.
Or hot dog bars. If you're a hot dog fan, am I, just full of myself or is KG gross? Who knows? One way or the other. I guess we'll find out. But we appreciate you guys. Always support. 10,000 subscribers. That's unbelievable. Cheers to the next 10,000. Go tell your friends and family. Let's join this party. Let's keep it going. But until next time, we'll see y'all.
Rollback just dropped their licensed game day collection. Polos, hoodies, Q-zips. Custom designed for your school. On game days, we wear Rollback, period.